Hi! So, pardon me if I look at my screen a little bit. I wrote some notes so I could help guide and direct my thoughts. So this week we studied and read the article exploring the influences of interdisciplinary clinicians' perception of music therapy on referrals in a youth mental health service. So this article outlines a study in which a music therapist examines the familiarity of music therapy service among different medical professionals and staff in a youth mental health facility in order to kind of gauge, how does health professionals understanding music therapy affect the referrals, and how does that affect who's getting music therapy services. So the researcher hoped to gain information kind of bridging those things and understanding the relationship and what we can change about that. And what struck me most about this study is that opportunities for music therapy are heavily weighted on the awareness of clinicians on music therapy. And because their understanding is going to result in them being able to identify more behaviors and attitudes and just different characteristics of an individual that might kind of pinpoint like, hey, this person could be a great candidate for music therapy. So for example, just to kind of give some examples from the research, so among the individuals who participated in the study, the majority were some psychologists, occupational therapists, some psych nurses, and among these people, most, this was really surprising to me, that most reported only sometimes mentioning the importance of music in relation to mental health. So that's really interesting to me, especially, if you work in a facility where there is a music therapist on site that can also be of service. Only, I guess, sometimes mentioning that relationship is really interesting to me and kind of makes me wonder why that happens and why that's not always something that is a first thought. So referral to music therapy first requires, someone to make that initial referral. So like a teacher, a clinician, any member of a medical team, or a parent, like I said, parent, teacher, administrator. And that requires them to be pretty well, at least a little bit well educated on music therapy and its benefits. And only when an individual knows those benefits can they, like I said before, can they really start to identify those things that they can see, hey, let's refer you to music therapy and let's see what we can do there. So I think for me, reading this article really made me think and reflect and kind of realize that, like, the behind the scenes requirement of that knowledge and that recognition and understanding of music therapy actually leaves a lot of people out and kind of prevents a lot of people from receiving the service. And to explain, like, for me, I'm thinking about just in general additional medical services such as counseling, therapy, music therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy. A lot of those additional medical services are really dependent on having a base foundation of medical services. For example, like in a high income area, there's going to be a lot of those services because there's going to be a base. There's going to be more medical, just like base medical services, and then more additional services can come in to support that. However, when you have like low income areas, it's going to be really hard to add additional services if there's not a strong basis of medical professionals. And so there's a lot of people being left out. And so I think at the very, very base level, I think education is a big, education and advocacy is a big way to help this, is just to really advocate for music therapy so that people know about it and they can be aware and know what some of those benefits are. And I think at a higher level, just in medical teams, like really talking together and being a part of that team, and really like strongly advocating, asking other clinicians about their clients and saying, hey, how are your patients doing? Do you think they would benefit from this service? Let me tell you a little bit about this. And you kind of work with, children. Let me tell you a little bit about how I work with children and some things to look out for. So kind of in a nutshell, those are some of the things I thought of that might be steps to improving opportunities for referral to music therapy, and ultimately providing more opportunities for people to participate in these services. Thanks.